What's up, Attila, OTG, Thurand? Can you guys hear me? Is that a yes or a no? Okay, thank you, Jay. What's up, man? This is about nothing. Actually, I could throw up some information I have, or I've had in the past, that validates what I said the other day about Russia being rich. And someone said, well, yeah, the people aren't. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. So America's rich too, but the people aren't. So what's the difference? If the country's rich, they're not going to change their policies. It's my theory. And if they have money and are making money hand over fist because of policies that we're dropping on them, then oh well, for us, they're making money. Oh yeah, I also did a report on November 6th, 2023. It was an amazing video. It was about, hold on a second here. Let me get to present, share screen, share, and let's see, get back here, do full screen, and get back over here. Fast forward this junk a little bit.
6 shipments of crude oil, totaling 650,000 barrels per day, for the purpose of conducting test runs in December. This collaboration between NNPC and the Dangote refinery underlines a pivotal step in the refinery's progress towards full-scale operation. As the Dangote oil refinery seeks to refine its operational
I did that 7 months ago,
launch,
this video.
This strategic move facilitates the necessary trial.
And if you go today to the video I just put out today, they actually just finished that refinery, and it refines 10 times the amount of oil of all the OPEC industry nations. How long do you think Nigeria is going to belong to NATO if they can outproduce them by 10x as far as oil, and just using African oil with all the African oil? That's why I'm not too hip on giving a crap if Saudi dropped the petrodollar, because Saudi's fixing to get dropped because of petro. If you look at the bigger scheme, yeah, it's a couple months, year away, whatever, 2 years, it's still going to happen. 7 months ago, I did that report, and just today, I did another report on that exact refinery actually opening up and being bigger than anything OPEC has in the area. And Africa and the north, central, from eastern and western and central, that whole desert area is filled with oil. Libya's got tons of oil. Everyone's got tons of oil over there. And now they're going to all send it to Nigeria instead of the Middle East to get refined. So they're losing money big time over there. And oh, by the way, that'd be countries that are joining BRICS. But that's another subject. I'm actually looking for this other report I did. And it was on how much money Russia is making. Actually, I did 2 reports on it. And I'm having problems finding it again. But that's why I'm kind of being quiet. I'm looking through my reports here. Screw it. Let me get back to the live stream. So, anyone want to hop up here? Any subjects y'all want to talk about? What's up, Count Derpula? What's up, Tom? Any subjects y'all want to talk about, discuss? I had several throughout the week, but I never write them down, and I just forget about them. Oh, Thurand, check this out. Did you start yours from seed, or did you get all yours cloned? It looked like you possibly got them all cloned. The reason why I'm asking is because I got 4 clones and 1 from seed in my backyard, and the one from seed in 2 weeks, it's 4 times bigger and 6 to 8 times more full than the clones. I'm actually now concerned I planted the clones too close to it and I just planted them like a week ago. I mean, I had it in a jar inside for like a month and a half, and it was like 6 inches tall. Now it's about 1.5 feet and about a foot, round. Well, terrifying people's not a bad thing to do if they need to be shaken up. Count Derpula. I dropped a link on Travis's page, so if he has time, he might show up tonight. Did the same to Jake Custom Car Parts. Actually, Jake's Custom Parts. Actually, I intentionally seed. I did it successfully 5 years ago, and those are the seeds I'm using now. I actually went through to G4 on the seeding process, and this is G5 now. It's going to be a purple stalk, purple limbs, green leaves with purple in them, and the weed's going to be purple. Because I mixed a couple strains together, and then I grew 2 of them side by side, stressed 1 limb on one of them. They seeded each other, causing it to be feminized. And I've got like several hundred feminized seeds. 100% of them have been feminized. Nope, don't have to worry about that if you do the process right, Thurand. I actually have 5 people that will confirm every seed I've given them over the past 4 years. Every one of them's been female. Not one hermaphrodited, and not one of them came out male. Because if you do the procedure properly, you can actually get feminized seeds. But see, here in California, we're used to people saying, oh, buy these feminized seeds, and they're not feminized. You're paying $12, $15, $20 for a seed that's not even feminized. Yet they're selling them that way. So people get the misconception that you can't feminize seeds. You can. I've actually done it successfully. Hey, how's it going, Indy? We need to get Indy up here. I got pinned to the top. Indy, if you want to come up here. I promise I'll be nice and polite, and I will not mute you. Even if you call me a son of a gun. All right, on. Tell him I said hi, and thank him for helping you out in the JM spelling game, because I know they're helping you. That is possibly true. We're still trying to figure out that part of it, and if it's actually meaningful, and if so, how meaningful. Count Derpula. I mean, the magnetic poles on this planet are reversing, which they often do. Often is relative, depending, in human year terms. It's over a lifetime, over hundreds of lifetimes, but every couple thousand years, the poles on this Earth, reverse, or what do they call it? It's not reverse. It's another scientific word they use. But anyhow, the sun does it. We don't. I mean, they're expecting solar flares to go up until up until November 2025 for the peak solar flares. So we're going to have a lot of disturbances that are going to be misconceived as other things because of that. And that's only because of our technology that we have now that we didn't have 11 years ago, because the sun goes on 11-year solar cycles. And we're in the hot cycle right now. And that's why we had like a M5 burst headed toward that hit the Earth a couple of days ago. Luckily, our magnetic field held, and none of our satellites got knocked out of the sky. But it's not unusual to have our satellites knocked out of the sky due to solar flares. It's just no one researches and talks about that stuff. I actually believe I did a video close to a year and a half ago on it, on solar flares. I might not have. Maybe I thought I should have and I didn't. That's a possibility. I do that frequently because I don't like making videos. I like doing kitty cat videos because that's more fun. Yeah, and here's another horrible thing, Count Jerpula. Over the past 1,000 years, 95% of the species have gone extinct. And it's all relative. You can look at that one way and say, oh my God, we're all going to die. Or you can say, wow, the life cycle on Earth. And we lived through it last time, we'll live through it this time. Same here, Attila. Actually, if you're hearing a cat meow in the background, that is Gandalf. He has a very distinct meow, and I don't know why the heck he's meowing. Unless he's got his girlfriend outside. And he's serenading her, which is feasible. Doubtful, but feasible because he got clipped. So he shouldn't be having those feelings. So what people think, palladium dropped below $800 an ounce. When are you guys going to start buying palladium? At what number? I think I might pick up some when it's in the 700 range or upper 600 range. Taking the economic theory from whoever put it out there, buy low, sell high. And even if it's a 15 or 20 year cycle, like platinum's on, apparently. You get it low now, and in 15, 20 years, you sell it, buy it for like 700 something, sell it for 5,000. Always a good return on investment, those 20-year term, 20, 15-year investments. No one has plenty of platinum. They just think they do. You could actually, everybody should have 10 pounds of platinum in their hands. And that's the good thing to do. That's actually what my suggestion is to people looking at the historic 100-year plus charts. It's only in the past 13 years where platinum has been half the price of gold. Typically, over the past 100 years, it's twice the price of gold. And that's why I'm buying platinum, because I anticipate it to revert back to a normal statistic, a historical average, which is twice gold's price, which means right now, if you buy 2 platinum ounces, you can get it cheaper than 1 ounce of gold. So you bought 2 ounces of platinum for less than 1 ounce of gold. And within a couple of years, if everything reverts back to normal, you'll be able to take one of those platinum and change it for 2 pieces of gold at whatever price it is. Yeah, Count Derby, yeah, definitely. You're supposed to like forget about it. Jake's Custom Parts and I did a show a couple weeks ago where he saw these old timers had this old saddlebag that had like, I don't know, I can't tell you how many. Jake will be able to tell you how many pre 1933 gold coins in them, and every now and then it was like their grandfather left it to them, and basically he told them all about money or whatever, and they had a crap load of them, and every couple of years they'd come into the coin shop and sell 5 or 10 of them, and be happy for however long that money lasted them or whatever. Jake is actually the one who knows the story, but that's how you pass down generational wealth. And he said every time those guys cashed some in, they was just laughing, because I'm sure their grandpa bought it for like $20 and they're getting like $2,000 for it. Yeah, there's all kinds of great strategies. We just got to be resilient and stick to your plans. Keep your eye on the prize and don't divert from that. That's why I'm not, getting too much into stacking or whatever, because I have my goals that are coming close to fruition, and hopefully they'll pay off nicely. Train robbery? What you talking about? Ooh. Yeah. That's a very good suggestion. A lesion growing on his inside. I would also confirm or deny, first off, if it's an acidic base or a what is the other one? Non-acidic base. I don't recall right off the top of my head what that's called. It starts with an A. Alkaline. If it's an alkaline-based lesion or acidic-based lesion, and if it's acidic-based lesion, you could probably add some baking soda to his food, because that should also, if it's acidic-based, which most of your cancerous type stuff is an acidic based thing, and you can actually help it out by giving it basically baking soda, which nullifies the acidic factor and kills off anything that's acidic. And it's in reverse if you have like a stomach or intestinal like parasite stuff. You want to increase the acid base of your body, because especially your inside parts, because that'll kill off the parasites. And that's why you should drink every now and then some apple cider, like a teaspoon or tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and like 4 ounces of water, and chug that son of a bitch down. You're going to pucker your lips, but it's actually very good for you and cleans out your insides. Nice. Good one, Thuran. Yeah, honey is actually pretty good for quite a bit of things. People really, medical field hasn't done any studies on it, because it actually cures quite a bit of things to where the medical field just treats. And once you figure that out, you'll figure out why it costs so much to go to the hospital, because they're going to treat you, and that costs money. Curing you, that doesn't make them any money. And as Tiger Stacker was saying on his live stream yesterday, they fire doctors left, right, and center to try and get them as cheap as possible. But yet you never get that discount because it all goes to profit margin. So they're always trying to get as much money as possible out of you, and curing you is like out of the question. It doesn't match with the bottom line. It's not profitable. You can also use it, Tom, on the outside where the sutures are. When you bandage them up, put honey on it, and it'll help take away the scar. I know dogs aren't baying or cats aren't baying though. Oh, I figured you did, my friend. Most people in this chat right now are way above average IQ. So any subjects that we want to bring up and chit chat about? Or anything else, shall I say? Or, let's see, let's talk about here we go, here's one. What do you guys think the 100-year economic cycle that came to an end was that they were talking about? Everyone was saying there was a 50, an 80, and 100-year economic cycle. What do you guys think the 100-year cycle? I don't do bongs. I do a wooden bowl, and I don't do joints. My backup is a prototype because it has one heck of a large storage feature. You can really compact a lot of weed inside the storage feature of a prototype, but I only smoke out of a wooden pipe. Yeah, Biden likes sniffing people. It's kind of, if you think about it, it makes sense because he is a dog on a leash. So, dogs sniff. I would imagine he'd go around and start sniffing people's butts next, like any other dog on a leash. Lifetime of currency. That would be nice to have. And here's something for everybody who's poor out there. Try and get up a coalition of different peoples, like-minded peoples, and buy some of the, an old mine on the East Coast that was open during the colonial days, because they shut those down when everyone came out to California in 1849. Everybody shut down all of their mines on the East Coast, leaving minerals, lots of them, especially with modern technology, leaving lots of minerals. And you could actually, if you buy a mine, you can start making money off of just going through the tailings and either crushing the rock ore or actually getting the Angel's gold out of it, and or both, and get enough money to actually start a rock mining project to get ores, gold, silver, and other things that the old timers left behind and did not finish getting. What's up, 79? I made the error of letting 79 know I had a channel. Now she's here. She's gonna mess with me. You want to come up on the panel, 79? I got it panel pinned at the top. That's actually what I'd like to do, is buy an old mine and get it, refurbish it, and reopen it. Because if gold is actually going to be valuable, like that people think it's going to be, my perspective is, you can either buy gold or you can buy a gold mine. And when I say gold mine, everyone thinks, oh, wow, $1 million gold mine. No, even if you get one of those old gold mines in the colonial 13 colony areas or around that area that produces 100 ounces of gold a year, that's a bank. that you have instantly become your own bank. You can finance houses, you can finance businesses off of, even if it only produces 50 ounces of gold. Yeah, you have operating expenses, but if gold's going to go up in price, operating expenses aren't that big anymore because you can sell it for more. And if you watch these shows like Parker's Trails and all those Yukon gold things, those guys, they're not going for the nuggets. If you ever notice that, they're not going for the big nuggets. They're going for the fine gold, and they're sluicing yards to get it. So if you really look at those shows, it shows you how to get gold out of the ground anywhere. They just want to get millions, so they go with a big operation. You don't have to have a big operation. You just look for, and there are areas all over the place that have gold as a small operation. You can get $200-300 a day in gold at today's prices. So if it doubles, that's $400-600 a day. How much money do you need to quit your job and start working for yourself? $600 a day, that's $3,000 a week. Yeah, I'm no longer an iron worker. That's double what I take home. But anyhow, not everyone's in the position. They got families and whatnot. But for those of us that are older and retired or fixing to retire, you got to look into it. You'd be collecting retirement and making money. And if you notice that, back to those Discovery Channel gold mining shows, most of those guys keep a hold of all that gold until the gold price goes up. Because if they have like 4,000 ounces for the year and gold is going up, if it goes up $20, that's a lot of money if you have 1,000+ ounces of it. So they're playing the game of the financial part of that gold mining too. If you watch those shows, you can see by decisions they make, it's based off of the money, the price of gold. That's why sometimes they'll leave ground behind untouched and move on. It's interesting. I've watched it for several years, studying it. Because I hate the cold. I ain't going to go up there in person and study. It's too fucking cold. I'll watch a video on it in the warmth of my house. So does anyone live in Georgia? Yeah, out of the sand, indeed. And you got to look backwards from the spot that he's at, Tom. He's at the last deposit of it from its source. So if it's on the beach, just look around, look at the weather, study the weather patterns, go to your computer, study the weather patterns in that area for the past 100, 200 years. And, well, you'll get more gold than he's got because you're following it to its source. Because gold, when it comes out of the ground, at least out here in California, that's why I love when we have big fires like we've had the past couple of years. Because those big fires, they let them burn because it's too rocky and too steep of an area for them to capture. But in Northeast California, that's where the gold's coming from. So if these old, bigger trees get burnt down, and then winter comes with the rain and then it freezing and snow, well, where their roots went into the rocks got burned and get filled up with water, and then the snow comes, it freezes and causes rock slides that fall in the river. That's how we can always go out here in the rivers and pan for gold, and you'll find some. So when we have big fires up in the Northeast, there's been lots of landslides, which we've had the past couple of years, along with a dam break. There's a lot more gold deposited in those rivers, and a lot more people are getting a lot more gold out of the same river they've been getting gold out of for, well, since 1842. So maybe 100 and 82 years pulling gold out of the same. No, 18, 19, 182 years pulling gold out of the same river. Out of the same river. No one's followed it to its source. And that's what I'm saying, because it keeps getting deposited. And if you follow it, because as it rolls down, it's in big chunks. As it goes down, it gets chunked off into smaller chunks, and that gets deposited in the high tide area or the outreach side on a turn of the river. And then if you study rivers and how they actually change directions and flows throughout centuries, you can go to an area 50 foot away from a river and start finding gold that was deposited there 300 years ago. Or you can do like I'm going to do before I leave California. I've done a lot of study. We used to get 3 foot average of rain about 150 years ago. 36 to 38 inches a year, because we had redwoods that stopped the clouds and all the water dropped. Now we're averaging 10 inches. So I just told you a story how gold's deposited in the permanent river. Another way it was deposited is when we were getting 3 foot of rain a year. If you look at the side of the mountain that hasn't had rain since 100 years plus, because we don't get the amount of rainfall, they've been dry for over 100 years. That means for over 100 years, no one's been there picking up that gold, but it's still getting deposited through the wind and earthquakes and stuff like that. So you go to what used to be a creek 150 years ago that has been dry for 150 years, and that's where you're going to get your gold out here in California. Because if it's continuously deposited in a moving water and everyone goes there because there's always gold there, why would they look at the places that there hasn't been moving water in over 100 years? But anyhow, as the gold gets smaller and smaller, it gets called different things. And modern technology has now allowed us to have a sluice type machines that can collect what they call angel's gold, which is the smallest particulates of gold, which is at the bottom end of gold's evolutionary trail from its source, which it leads back to that guy who gets the gold wizard who gets gold off the beach. If he could find out and follow the trail every week that he does that, he'd get more and more gold. I've done a lot of studies on gold. Being out here in California for 30 years, actually I'm more interested in the Southern California, in the desert, because they project there's still like $6 billion worth of gold in the desert of California that hasn't been discovered yet. Because of course, who the hell wants to go out in the desert, right? That's why I want to go there. Be a perfect spot to get a little golf cart, solar powered golf cart with a solar panel on top of it. That way you have shade and you're constantly getting fueled up with power. Carry your cooler with you and your metal detector. And this new invention called a drone that they have out that actually will metal detect for you high speed. It's got wires that hangs down 3 to 4 foot, and you run this drone over a large area and you watch it on the screen, and it pings where it gets, non-ferrous hits. So you don't have to search the whole area. You go to those areas on your map that it pings, football size area in like 20 minutes. So every hour you could cover 3 football fields worth of time, quote unquote, metal detecting. What's up, Jess? Thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe. Buy some silver, some platinum, and some crystallized osmium. And be kind to toddler. Exactly, Tom. A friend of mine is going to buy one. He lives in Alabama, because that's why I asked earlier if anyone lives in Georgia, because Northwest Georgia, Northeast, and Central Alabama, that area, believe it or not, to this day is known as the gold capital of America, east of the Mississippi. Meaning, if you don't want to go out to California, Nevada, go to Alabama, north central, northeastern. Appalachian Mountains have been depositing gold for a long time. Gold finding or hunting or searching, that Alabama is the gold capital of America, east of Mississippi. So it's very easy to get gold if you just do your research. You take a weekend camping, probably go out and find a half ounce. That's not a lot, but hey, last I checked, if you go camping for a weekend and come back with $1,100, that was a good damn camping trip. I'd do it every weekend and make $4,000 a month camping on the weekend. You know, and it can be done. You do your research, you put logical thought processes to it. You look at maps, you look at water flows, you look at rainfall over the year, you look at ground movement through earthquake, whatever, you know, just add all as many and go look in those areas. You stand a real good chance of being successful. And of course, another thing to do is just go to these old mines that have been closed down for over 100 years on the East Coast. Go through their tailings piles. I guarantee you will find gold. Modern technology. In the past 5 years, we have come up with a style of metal detector and a sluicing system that should have increased the amount of gold being gotten by people by at least 200% because of the efficiency and effectiveness of the technology alone. That's why people are also still going over the same area that people went over 5 times before, and they're finding gold still because the metal detectors actually penetrate deeper into the ground. New technology. The sluice machines devices they have actually capture the it's called Angel's gold. It's the smallest gold particulates that are out there. You can now collect them. Those gold particulates, those small Angel's gold, are everywhere. So through technology, it's actually an awesome time to be in actually physically going out and collecting metal, mostly gold. And learn a little bit about geology if you're in the mountains or live near the mountains, and see if you can't find these little veins, quartz veins mixed with the coppers and the other minerals, and just start grabbing pieces of rock and crush them and sluice them and get gold. Again, a weekend camping trip. There's so many ways over a weekend if you do some just minor research. Take your family on a camping trip, whether it's to the river, to the mountains, or to the fucking valley, that you could actually make money camping for a couple days. You know, if you can get anywhere around the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is actually interesting because it exposes lots of different layers of rocks and the geological movements because of the exposure of the rocks. And you should be able to actually see the areas that they don't allow you in. You should be able to see these mineral veins on the sides of the canyon walls. Yeah, I don't like that saying, OTG. Its meaning is perceived to be anti-Semitic to both the people they're talking about and the people who are saying it. And also it could get me a strike on YouTube, depending on which faction of Judaism controls it. Oh no, actually, no. I don't get me wrong, Hagler Hodler. I have, or shall I say, I am on board with the theory that this other scholar had, and he did a little research on, and it was on ancient boat technology, and he actually rebuilt a quote unquote time period with the same materials. Hey, what's up, Jeffro? A boat of the Egyptian time period where Cleopatra and Mark Antony were alive. That time period, and he sailed it out in the ocean. His first one was not a success. His second one actually made it to Peru, I think it was. So he proved that the Egyptians back then, or the Alexandrians, or whatever you called them back then, had the technology to get to the Americas. And if you study the history of when Caesar defeated Mark Antony and took Alexandria at the time where Cleopatra was, and she killed herself. They talk about the two of the three children. He actually didn't kill them, which he had the right to, but he didn't. It was up William, and he schooled them, but they never talk about the third child that Mark Antony and Cleopatra had, and they didn't get a lot of the antiquities and gold that he anticipated getting. So there's this guy's theory was that Mark Antony and Cleopatra's third child, their oldest son, took that big boat because they built it knowing they weren't going to survive the Roman conquest of Caesar, and he sailed away to the Americas. And there's actually oral history of Indian nations stating that a people like that were in the Americans in the Arizona, New Mexico, wherever the southern part of that canyon is. The only reason we don't use the American Native Indians history is because their history is not written. It's an oral history. So archaeologists instantaneously discount it as not being true. And they don't even try and research it based off of the oral history. So there are flaws in archaeology and the study of history. In which case, hello, what's William's question? In which case, you guys, I would suggest that you buy more silver. What's up, Jake? You buy more silver. It would be a good thing to buy. Although, I mean, it is going to go up, but if new technology is made available that doesn't require silver in the photovoltaic power generation arena, it's not going to soar as high as we think it is, but it'll still soar. Yeah, 300 to 400 paper ounces. Theoretically, you would think that would take, and you'd at least get when people go to get that theoretical silver, say it's at 300 people who have paper purchased silver ounces to 1 physical ounce. Would that not, and correct me, crowd guys in the chat if I'm wrong, would that not theoretically make the price of silver, once those 300 people want to go cash in for physical, wouldn't that drive the price up of silver at least 300 times, or going in that direction? That's what I'm. Yeah, see, William, you're on thought with me. In reality, it should do that. And that would actually, William, 300 or 400 x silver is a price I've heard come from people who are smart. I don't know if it's actually 300 or 400 times, but if it's like $5,000 an ounce, whatever that is, times what it is now, it's a lot. Probably 500, 400, somewhere around there. Yeah, things will be changing across the financial landscape. That's why you got to buy silver, platinum, and crystallized osmium, guys. Because if that happens, like what's his name on Arcadia Economics, Ralphie Farber says, was it 68, 70 ounces of silver could buy a house? You take care, Hager. Thank you for stopping by, my friend. There. He is now down with the sickness. I turned him blue. I should have a blue meanie up here on the picture. What's happening on the Shanghai, my friend? I'm surprised you're not talking to Patrick, actually, Jake. Asking him what's up. That's a good question, William. I don't know the answer. Does anyone know the answer to that? I actually do not know. I don't think there are actually paper contracts, but I could be wrong. See that crop duster picture? That's the plane they're saying is going to replace the A-10. Attila, you should check it out, man. Go into the history books in your area where you live and check it out. There's a place in a small town in Georgia, southern western Georgia, real small town, a couple thousand people, lots of trees everywhere, but they still got some mountains or hills. And you just walk off the main street road, go up in the hills about 100 yards, and you can find gold. So you never know, brother. You never know. But do the research, of the history of the area. Checkmate, see if there was any actual gold mines back in the 1800s in or around that area. And if there were, technology's changed a lot in 200 years. It's a lot easier to find it nowadays. Surface. And of course, they even have rock crushers that you can buy to make it easy if you want to do rock mining, actual going in caves and mining and getting the ore out of the rock. But it requires different regulations, so a little bit more expensive to get into. Well, there you go. Jake's got the answer as far as they do have contracts, but he didn't come to us with a conclusive answer of how many contracts per ounce of platinum. But speaking of platinum, the South Africa, for the first time in 30 years, the ANC party had to make concessions with other parties that it was, rivaling with to get the presidency, because they lost total power, the percentage of the vote. So they had to make concessions to other parties. And I did a video several days ago stating that if they did that and they got the DA party, which everyone thought I was a fool for saying that because they're two opposing parties. But I said if they partner with the DA party, then platinum is going to skyrocket soon if this one guy got a certain position in that coalition government. And damn sure enough, just yesterday, a day before that, ANC came out and I did another video, and they actually partnered up with the DA group that they have, and they're talking to that one dude that I said would probably get a position in the financial area of the coalition government. So when their whole election thing now comes to fruition and people get appointments, I should be able more conclusively let you know when platinum will skyrocket. Because for 30 years, the ANC party, the Nelson Mandela party, a Marxist party, actually, has been in control and doing the contracts. And they did the contract with China because Africans aren't used to contracts. They really haven't done them in their society over the eons, to where the Chinese are masters of contracts. They've always done contracts in their society. So it was like playing chess with a freaking 2-year-old, and they took total advantage of them. But those contracts are only for a time period. And if they come up for renegotiation, which I do believe they will, that will skyrocket the price of platinum. But this is all geopolitical and business stuff that yet has to work itself out, but most likely will. And platinum will skyrocket because of it. At least that's my projection. I'm most likely right. Considering everyone else thought that the and ANC would never combine powers. Was that Wayne? Thank you very much, sir. Everyone likes it when they get smacked around with the like button. But yeah, and obviously things will be different this time around with the DNC, with the ANC party, because they added their rival party into their party to make the coalition party they needed to get the votes to take power and govern South Africa. And that has not happened in 30 years. And South Africa basically controls platinum. And any stupid ass contracts they sign with China, we all suffer the price of lower platinum. Oh my God, it hurts so bad to buy platinum at $1,000 rather than $4,000. What's up, Wayne? Oh, that's crap. That ain't nothing. 15,000 contracts. There's like 4 million ounces pulled out of the ground yearly. So if there's only 15,000 contracts for platinum with like 4 million ounces pulled out of the ground yearly, that ain't crap. That would actually lower the price of platinum if they if they cashed in. So does anyone want to come up to the panel and talk about this cool little crop duster that I have as a picture? Or anything else. I just threw that out there. So no one wants to come up because I'm running out of things to talk about. Actually, I'm not, but I am. I'm running out of things I want to talk about. You know, they're losing money by doing that. They're not getting that much money for the catalytic converters, Jeffro. Yeah, see what I'm saying? Wayne gets it. The amount of platinum, because what it is in the catalytic converters, they got these little like BB guns, little BBs, that size shaped little pellets. I think they're ceramic pellets. They lightly coat the outside with just like a glaze of platinum. It doesn't even really change the color of them that much. It barely changes the color of them. And it is so minuscule, the amount of platinum on each of one of them. But yeah, there's a lot of those little BBs or pellets in the catalytic converter. But to get the platinum out, you have to be able to have a forge that you can drop all those pellets in and probably get 2 grams, 3 grams maximum of platinum. And you got all this other waste material you got to deal with, and the expense of heating up your forge to about 3,800 degrees, 3,700 degrees. So it is. I mean, if you have hundreds of them, I imagine it'd be worth it. But that would be the guy who owns the forge. He's probably buying them at a cheap ass price to make money for himself when he does turn his forge on to scrap 50 at a time or something. But the guys stealing one or two, they aren't making any money on catalytic converters, bro. And just imagine, since the car companies, and I did a report on this, changed over a couple of years ago to using palladium. Imagine their disappointment when they find out palladium's going to drop to like $600 an ounce, and it ain't going to be worth stealing the catalytic converters. Yeah, a lot of people in the Priuses had to put plating on the bottom part of the car to cover up the catalytic converters, because that was a big thing. Priuses, because it was easy to get the catalytic converters, and it cost like $600 to put the plate on. And it makes it more expensive to take the plate off when doing general maintenance on the car. Well, yeah, and also, Jeffrey, the key words there around your in your fleet to stop trucks. If you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's worth hitting if you can get them all in one night. And like I said, the guy who's just grabbing one or two a month, that's like 20 a year. He's barely making anything. He's making a couple for his trouble. He's not making anything, actually. But people, the thieves, don't think like that. That's why they're poor, because they don't think properly about economics. Why do I see platinum price increasing due to elections in South Africa? Because the DA party, and I don't recall what that acronym means, it's a majority of the business owners and business people of Africa, South Africa, that have been excluded for the past 30 years in the government, because the ANC party has had control since Nelson Mandela, formed the party, or it was formed because of Nelson Mandela. And now, for the first time in 30 years, because South Africans hate the way their lives are going, and I've done reports on it, they're like without power for 24 or 12 hours a day and all this other, and oh God, they got like 4 million people employed as private security guards for the wealthy. And I mean, it's an extraordinary, like 29,000 murders a year. I mean, it's just horrid down there. I did a report. I don't recall the exact numbers, but it's real bad. So when you see, it's like seeing the Republicans win the presidency and take a Democrat as a vice president. That's how screwed up things would have to be. And that just happened in South Africa when they included the DA party into the coalition party with the ANC. And the one guy who's running the figurehead for the DA is a very, very astute businessman, and would have never cut the deal that the ANC party cut with China when they joined the One Belt Road Initiative. So I anticipate, like what Italy did to China, and they canceled out the One Belt Road Initiative contract, this gentleman will do the same. And when he does that, the suppression of the platinum price that China has been putting on South Africa since the One Belt Road Initiative contract signing, that'll end. And that'll allow the platinum price to see its normal pricing after it shoots up way past that, because it's been suppressed for 13 years. That's why, William. You're welcome, brother. I keep up with South Africa. And the only reason I did a report on it. China courted South Africa into BRICS because they stated they had unique, and that was the word they used, unique minerals. And the minerals they listed were diamonds, gold, and platinum. And of those three, the only one unique to South Africa is platinum, because you can get diamonds anywhere else out there. There's like 3 other diamond mines out there instead of just not just South Africa. And as far as gold mines go, there's tons of them out there, not just South Africa. As far as platinum mines go, there's only Russia and South Africa, and South Africa does about 80 to 90%. So that is unique to South Africa. So basically, China courted South Africa into BRICS, getting them to sign the One Belt Road Initiative because they have platinum. And China knew, and as I've also, hey, what's up, Space Miner? As what I've just already told, they had to buy 2.4 million ounces of platinum this year to supply the new engines they are making that are hydrogen hybrid biodiesel type engines for 10 separate car companies that have already signed contracts to have these engines delivered by the end of 2024. So they had to buy, and they knew this because they had those contracts like, well, maybe 10, 12 years ago, they knew they were going to be doing that. So that's why they trapped South Africa and lowered the price of platinum so they could make maximum dollars on their engine building industry, being able to get platinum at $1,000 over $4,000 to $5,000 an ounce. And if you're buying 2.5 million ounces a year, that's one hell of a savings. Xi Jinping would probably give you a medal if he doesn't kill you first. And then you got to also study why Italy left the One Belt Road Initiative after 1 year. And when you actually see the paperwork and see the videos on the Prime Minister of Italy saying why, you'll understand that and also do research on every other country that signed on to the One Belt Road Initiative and look at how that country's not prospered. Yes, Africa, Space Miner. I do lots of reports on Africa because there is so much money to be made in Africa. You just don't realize. There's so much innovation that's already been done that just needs to be introduced to that country that you can take advantage of regionally in different areas, different countries. And it's awesome, man. The opportunity it's like the 1849 gold rush all over again, but it's in Africa, and it's not really gold, it's opportunity. So that would mean there's wow, okay, 50 ounces per contract. Okay, so if there's 4, that means there's 1 million contracts. William, so I don't know. I'll research it and get back to you. I don't like dealing with fraudulent markets, and even in my research, because the fraudulent markets I label as fraudulent markets because they keep changing their data to maximize their profit, which means you really can't use their data because it keeps changing, or the rules keep changing the meaning of the data. It's just it's a big headache. Hey, Space Miner, are you still out and about putting fires out or starting them? Or did you even have to start any backfires to stop the fire? It didn't look like it was bad enough to have to do that, but you might have done it just to clear a path to stop the fire's forward momentum. Who knows? Only Space Miner knows, and I have a feeling he might tell us. Or you can come up to the live stream if he's not out in the wilderness. Anybody? I just rolled snake eyes here. No one wants to come up. Yeah, okay, so you're getting the line up to stop the fire's forward momentum and letting it burn out to that point. That's the safest way to do it, especially if it's not like in the treetops blazing. Yeah, back burning. Even though it's funny, you back burn in front of a fire. Shouldn't that be called front burning? I mean, it's not always in front of the fire. It's in a possible forward direction of the fire, depending on wind and terrain, obviously. Well, shit, they got the right man for the job, huh? William, that is a open-ended question. Okay, a quick answer for Space Miner before I get back to William. I got the pieces I need to do the drilling into the 1.4 carat gems, but they're real small, and I don't have that much room for error. And I realized my glasses weren't good enough, so I ordered this like jeweler's glasses that go over your eyes and have little lights on them, and it's got like lenses that you place in, like a 2, a 3, a 5, and a 7 or something like that. And I've got to wait till they come in so I can actually see, because I'm gonna be the flat surface of the top of those 1.4 carat gems is like 3.5 millimeters. So I got like a quarter millimeter on the whole circle. So I got to be exact. And my eyeballs that I got on right now, they're just not that magnet. They don't magnify that good enough. So I need to get more of jeweler's equipment to be able to do this stuff. And I've already ordered them. I'm waiting for them to come in, basically. Now, let's see. I have a picture on my phone of the nose rings, but I don't know how to get them onto the computer. Okay, now let's see, William. How many full-time jobs? If proper forest management was done, and they didn't actually allow the forest to die intentionally, and they actually wanted it to grow and prosper, you could employ thousands of people for that job. Thousands. Yeah, like Space Miner said, that I would stretch to say tens of thousands, but definitely like maybe 20 to 30,000 maybe. Yeah, I'm doing the 3 millimeter rounds and bigger rounds because when drilling, it's a circle. You can't, squares are kind of hard to fit in circles. It's the long time quarry of, hey, does this square fit in that circle? And then you see the kid in the corner and you say, yep, that's the guy who's trying it, and he's beating on his little hammer thingy to try and put the square block in the round hole. It just doesn't work. So that's why the grinding tip I got is a 3 millimeter round for a 3 millimeter round piece of osmium. And I can go bigger, up to 8, 9 millimeter, and get 8, 9 millimeter rounds. Of course, those will be easier because they're bigger. Smaller ones, I need goggles for. But yeah, one day I'll get the 4-set display set. Oh, and also we're having earrings made. I got to call the guy tomorrow and work on that. So we'll have earrings and nose rings of the osmium squares. Lower end jewelry. There's a lot of jobs that could be deployed here in California if we were on a faster pace to dismantle the dams that we are supposed to be dismantling. That was Gandalf meowing if you heard him or hear him. There's lots of jobs you can get in California through a different government. So anyone want to come join the panel? Get up here and talk crap with me? Like I said, I just did like a 3-second dab on it when I realized I better stop before I fuck up the gym. But it did leave. It did take material off of the gym. So I know once I get those magnification 7 lenses, the jeweler lenses, and put those in and get set up to hold the gym steady, I will be able to make it work. Because I only have to go in like 0.5 millimeter. It's barely anything in reality. It's all good, brother. I'm just making offers. People don't have to take up on it. What you need to be looking for is the little gullies, because that's where there'll be gold. You can take your metal detector and when your time's off, you get your off time instead of just sitting around doing nothing. Turn areas. Also, another good area to look for gold is underneath the tree root. Best way to do. Just a suggestion. If you do any fires in mineral high areas. Yeah, smart man. If you put any investments, there's actually a flying that can do metal detecting for you. So where that way, if you're behind the line, behind everyone else, not in the front forward position, and you're like behind the burnout fire area, just like putting out hot spots, drone and cover like a football size area in like 20 minutes on your phone to see where it caught, ferrous metal pings. Area is taking metal detector and then like a little 10 by 10 area, and every time you get some sort of ferrous metal from that thing. Basically increase your time metal detecting by like 100. It's like an Elon Musk's way of looking at things. Faster and only go to the areas where you know there's shit instead of to cover that 100 yards football field size area. Do it. And you then go to the specific areas where your little jerk picked up the pings. And you can get it done in 4 hours and do 3 of them a day and hit football fields and do 1 week's worth of metal detecting in 1 day. Thus pick up more gold. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't suggest because you do break stuff, big stuff. The only thing I would suggest bringing in would be like I said, a drone, because you could actually in a box that's secured and safe and whatnot, and then only use it after like your shift's over with and you got a couple minutes. Throw it up in the air, run a football size area with your drone metal detector. You just even save that GPS location and map and hit it later after, in a month or two. It is a very good one, dude. It is a very good one. And like I said, you can be successful at panning or metal detecting, but just imagine if you could increase your speed of the ground you cover by 10x, which means, again, you're getting basically one week, 1.5 weeks worth of metal detecting area covered in one day. So therefore, if you are already known as a successful finder of gold, you will be 10 times more successful. So therefore, you make more money in less time through technological innovation. It makes gold prospecting very feasible on a camping trip with your family. Because I guarantee God dog to you, if you take a metal detector and that drone out while your family's out camping, and you find a couple hot spots and you find some gold there and you bring it back to the camp, your kids will be all over that metal detector, and they'll be like, Dad, you run the metal detector, the drone, and tell us exactly where to go. We'll get the gold. Boom, I guarantee it, because that gold fever hits everybody. They'll be like running those little areas, metal detecting. Oh no, it was bottle cap on this one. Oh hey, look at this nugget. Yeah, I think the drone penetrates like 3 foot into the ground too, which is better than any metal detector. I think metal detectors only got like a foot or two, the real good ones. And those just came out like 2 or 3 years ago, which is the reason why people are going over areas where people already looked for gold several times, because the technology has allowed us to look it over again like no one has. Like it's new again. And technology makes the old new. Go into those old rock mines and see how much the old timers left behind, because they were chasing the richest of the ore veins, and they left the less rich. Well, that was back when gold was $20 an ounce. Now it's 2,400 an ounce. So there's less rich ore mines that they left behind, or veins that they left behind, make it worth it. What's up, Tiger? Yeah, I did the surfing little tiger, not a full tiger, but a little cartoony baby tiger, because of stacking surfers in his chat, or it was in your chat when he was up. He had a cool looking one. I was like, oh, that was a cool one. I can't find one that cool, so I figured instead of going with cool, I went with cute, and I think that one was a cute one. I did find one that was that cool, but I couldn't download it because the size of the picture was, the megapixels or something was too big or something. But thank you for mentioning that. Oh, what? You're live with him right now? That is an excellent idea, Space Miner. Well, what time are you going live? Well, I'll jump over there. 10, 9, 8. Oh, so 40 minutes. Okay, 45 minutes. Hey, I was unable to email you those links for my older videos that I did showing that Russia was making crap loads of money. I found them. I just couldn't email them to you. And I emailed him to Long Live Coins and asked him to pass them along to you. I don't know if he ever did. I'm re-looking right now because this is my show and I should be able to display them. But it took me a while to find them because it's been a couple months. So forgive me if I don't speak for a little bit because I am going back through my old videos. Oh, here's one. What's this? This is March 3rd. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go now. Present. Share screen. Yes, I want to share screen. Share. All right, let me go back over here. Full screen this. Nope, it is full screened. Now I got to go over here. And let's get through me talking crap. Cool little intro to his program.
Build 2 fancy new reactors for the future icebreaker ship. Russia sees a big chance to do more in the Arctic, but it's not just about the Arctic. Russia has something really huge in mind that's going to shake up how things work with shipping routes. Join us as we explore Russia's huge mega project that's going to change everything. But before we get started, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Tech
Hey, what's up,
Revolution.
Silverboy
We're all
Blues?
about bringing you the latest and greatest updates, so you don't want to connect its northern and far eastern territories. This route isn't just about local connectivity, it's a game changer in global trade. Picture this, a journey from St. Petersburg to Shanghai, taking a mere 28 days via the NSR. This is way shorter compared to the lengthy 50-day haul through the Suez Canal. Russia is stepping up and offering a helping hand in the midst of tensions in the Red Sea. The deal is, they're all in to ensure top-notch security for ships cruising the Northern Sea route. Ambassador Nikolai Kurchinov from the Russian Foreign Ministry spilled the beans on this. Kurchinov reveals that Russia is
What's
keen
up,
on
Chef?
offering an alternative to Red Sea shipping. Russia's not just talking the talk, they're genuinely worried about what's going down in the Red Sea region. Kurchinov emphasized how they're taking their role seriously in the global maritime transportation game. Plus, he dropped the bomb that they've got a plan, a big one. Back in 2022, the Russian government gave a thumbs up to a development plan for the Northern Sea route until 2035. Think icebreakers, supply vessels, ports, the whole shebang. And yeah, security during navigation is right up there on the agenda. What's cool is that Russia is throwing the Northern Sea route doors wide open for all countries. No favoritism here. They're even boasting about how navigation there is like a fortress, super secure, sustainable, and environmentally friendly. In fact, it's catching the eye of logistic companies looking to play it safe. Container lines are becoming a regular thing on the Northern Sea route, adding a bit of spice to the maritime scene. So there you have it. Russia's offering a safe sailing haven in the Northern Sea route amid the Red Sea drama. Talk about making waves, right?
Yeah, talk about making waves, right? You know, the Red Sea passage decreases the time of the passage, the time you have to have insurance on those containers, and the amount of fuel by no less than 40%. So they've got these nuclear-powered icebreakers, the biggest in the world. They're making 3 of them so that they can guarantee keeping the Northern Passage open 12 months out of the year. How soon do you think the Middle East is going to drop in significance if they don't have any ships they can blow up? Because that's what Russia's offering. And that means whoever's getting the money now to go through the Suez Canal is going to go bankrupt because Russia's going to take that money. That's one of the videos. I'm looking for the other video right now showing that they're making more money than in history because of the embargoes we have against them. Be quiet. That's Gandalf. Still can't find it. I got like 1,000 videos, guys. My shit's not organized either. It's just by date, so I got to go through it, and I don't recall the exact date that I did it. That's what's taking so long. I should have been more prepared and looked for it before the live stream. Anyhow, I'm gonna quit looking for it. Get back to the chat here. Wayne Smith, that's irrelevant. If we took all of our fishing vessels and put a 50 caliber on them, we'd have 10 times the Navy they'd have. They're counting boats that aren't war boats, bro. They have what, because of their system and the way they're set up, they have this civilian naval fleet, and what it is it's their fishing vessels. They allow their fishermen to carry weapons so that they can be used as a navy. I am not concerned at all about quote unquote numbers of ships. Once they get to the technological point where they can navigate a submarine with all of their top ranking best submariners on it and not hit something and blow it all up and kill everybody, or as soon as their aircraft carrier, the newest brightest one in the fleet, can go out on an operation and not return back to port on the second day because of maintenance issues, then I'll be concerned about China's fleet. They are a paper dragon. I've done several videos on that. Their stuff don't work, bro. What they do have is they have a lot of people, and they do have a lot of weapons they can put on those people, but they can't put them on boats and do anything, or put them in the air and do anything. And that's why I say they're either going to hit India or Russia, because you can use your manpower and you don't have to worry about your your stolen technology that you haven't figured out yet. Yeah, and they're actually, if you look at the history between China and Russia on the southeast part of the China-Russia border before it hits the, I guess, what would that be, just part of the Pacific or the Japanese Sea or whatever it's called. It's disputed, and it was resolved in court in the 90s, but it's a disputed city that China claims, but it's in Russian territory, and Russia claims it as well. But they've had peaceful negotiations and settlements allowing Russia to claim it as Russian, which is kind of weird because China's been claiming territory of everybody that's not theirs, but they allowed Russia to keep that territory with a full-fledged city in it. And it's a port city. But yeah, it's a cold water port. They do need access to the Black Sea. And that's why they're going for the Ukraine. All right, well, if I had yeah, it goes back a couple hundred years. It goes back like 170, 180 years, something like that. So it goes back a ways, that dispute. But, I don't know. Everyone puts too much on China, man. China's not all that. That's all I can say. Africa's got more going for it than China. And Ian did bring up a good point. Russia's population is declining, their birth rate and whatnot, just like China's. But that's why I did a video that said he was giving $1 million to every woman that raises 7 or 8 kids born in Russia. It's old. They established it after World War II, and they stopped paying women that money in like the early 70s, and then he reinitiated that program of paying women to have children. So if a lot of women are collecting on that, their population can recover. It's actually, I think at the time it was 16,000 rubles made $1 million or something like that. Or no, vice versa. I don't know. Look at my videos. I did a video on it. Right now I'm getting stoned because it's the weekend. But as I say, every day is Saturday if you don't have a job. So. So anything else you guys want to talk about? No. What's very interesting, Wayne, is that during the Clinton administration, we allowed our top secret, quote unquote, top secret spy plane to land intact with all its gear operational, and the 7 pilots, I guess because there was a woman there, actually did not commit suicide as they were supposed to, and they received a ticker day tape parade in New York when they came back. And the only reason they could have broken every damn protocol this nation has on our spy planes is if the technology we gave to China and we gave it to them had a back door in it, or we knew they didn't have the technology or understanding to operate it, and we could infiltrate their systems if they tried to, reverse engineer it. Those would be the only 2 reasons that I would think that we gave them our top secret spy plane. So you can't discount the sneakiness of America when it comes to staying a world power. Because I'm a high school dropout, and I thought of that. And actually, my brother's a 22-year Green Beret, and I did serve in special operations, which is not Green Beret, but you still have access to certain things, and that's just not how we just don't give our enemies our shit unless we can still control it, basically. Yeah, for real, Nickel. You keep talking shit, but you're not throwing up no website. You're blue. You can throw up a website. You won't get timed out. Unless you just don't want to put the website up there. See, he's afraid to put the website up there because we'll all go there and we'll outbid him for shit, and he'll never get anything else. But supposedly Stacking Surfer is going to be on with Tiger. And I need to check my notifications for that one. Yep, 8:05. Oh, he's got Nickel on his show, not Surfing Stacker. On a safe, you know, I would stay away from the electronic ones because it's been proven that companies can't be trusted that make the safes because they give backdoor keys to the FBI. So I would say no matter what the name brand is, go with one that has actual physical combination on it. Even though they can be broken into, they can't be broken into as easy as the ATF coming in there and having your code because they have a backdoor to your electronic safe, which a company has just been proven that they gave the ATF and the FBI those codes. So electronic safes, I would say I don't trust. What's up, Ellie? And Annie, holy cow, we're getting invaded. Yeah, anything that's electronic, I wouldn't trust. So if it has the word safe and you're literal in wanting to keep it safe, don't trust electronics because every piece of electronics can be hacked and broken into electronically. They don't even have to be there. At least with a physical combination lock, they have to physically be there. And that allows you extra rights because they had to break into your house with what is that? With intent, some sort of intent. It's a legal word. And then you have the legal right to shoot them. So it actually discourages thieves more not having an electronic safe. And of course, the ATF and FBI can't just walk into your house and go to your safe and open it up. But I don't know a lot about safes. Ouch, 11%. Damn. Chef, you need to get out there and boil down some more silver and get some silver, make that money back, bro. Gavin Newsom's going to have a party on that one tax bill, brother. This sucks, man. The state sucks. Yeah, LA, he's in California. The one thing you're forgetting about Wayne Smith is Australia, the Philippines, Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, and Okinawa, and all the other islands that are our allies in that area. And he also, I think I actually did a video on the Philippines. I might not have. I probably didn't. The Philippines just gave us the okay to build a naval base on the most northern part of their archipelago that we had a naval base in World War II. We're going to go refurbish it. And then it's the last island before you hit Taiwan. It's the Taiwanese Straits. So we're going to have a naval base right on the southern tip of Taiwan in the Philippine Straits. The Philippine archipelagos on the Taiwanese Straits, excuse me. But I did do a video on drones and our military using drones. So when you hear them on the news talking about we will open a hellscape if they try to cross the Taiwanese Straits, you can watch my videos on the military that I did. And that's why they want 5G, because all of our robotic war machines and drones technologies, both underwater, in the air, and on ground, operate on 5G. And we have a lot of them. And actually, the Marines are looking at doing like 100-man, a little bigger than platoon size units dispatched with automated equipments that can bring them the firepower of a full regiment, and they can be dropped on small islands and moved quickly and still have that same firepower because of the robotic technology that we're employing right now in our military. And that's why I say we actually do not need the size military we have with the new technologies of the military that they have and are deploying. And I think I did a video about a year ago about the Marines getting rid of 5 regiments of their what was that? The mortar regiments, because we got this new mortar, and they created 2 divisions for the new mortar technology we have. We're the world leader in mortar technology. Most mortars fire about, I think, 44 kilometers, and they're arch shaped and they're not directional hit. We now have mortars that travel 77 kilometers, and they have smart technology and guided systems on them to where you can fire it from one side of a mountain and it'll hit the other side of the mountain, any part of that mountain that you want. And we've already deployed those to Taiwan. Sorry, I keep up with what we're doing on that shit. That's why I'm not concerned. It's changed naval warfare, because we can hit their boats before they can come within range of using their weapons to hit us, that we cannot deploy countermeasures for before they hit, that is. So basically, we made a chess move with this new technology. Basically, it's a guided mortar, yes, sir. But it also fires almost twice as far as every other country's mortars, which, if you look at calculations for war, is always economic. If we now have a mortar system that it's almost twice as far away as yours does, then your troops become in harm's way before you can bring cover fire into them. Therefore, if you go in a direction where we can use our mortars, you're going to lose more money and troops and equipment than we are, so we'll ultimately win. Hey, Tiger, before you go, put in the chat the live stream. I'm gonna make you a moderator so you can do that, and put in the link. There we go. You are a moderator now, Tiger. Just throw in the link to your live stream, brother. Yeah, Chef Stacker's rocking the Casbah with his operation. I suggest everybody get to know him, because he's going to be a millionaire one day, and you're going to want to say you know him. And as most millionaires, they don't get to know people, really get to know them after they have their millions. It's only before they get their millions. So get to know him now, because he's going to be a millionaire, multi-millionaire. Oh, it's not good night, Annie. He's going to his live stream. And if I can figure this out, let's see if this works here. Hey, I'm just sucking up to you now before you become a millionaire, brother. That's Tiger and Nicholas live stream coming up, guys. Chef Stacker, in my lifetime, I've seen people make it rich and not make it rich. And a lot of it has to do with drive and ethics, work ethics. And you have both those, my friend. The only thing stopping you from being successful is you not wanting to be successful. Sorry, I'm preparing some tea. Those Scottish people, if we don't get our tea, we get angry. That's a stereotype. I'm just using it because, what the hell, why not? I'm Scottish, I can, right? Because I can, that's why. And cans are better than cans. It all depends on you guys. You want to stay here and chit chat? I'll stay here and chit chat. If you, if most of you guys are going to go over to Tigers, then yeah, I'll close the stream down. We'll go over there. It's not my choice. It's not called Neil's Tube. It's called YouTube. What do you guys want? What do YouTubers want? I see the play on words. What do YouTubers want? What do you YouTubers want? Because no matter what, I'm going to load this pipe up and I'm going to smoke some more, so it doesn't matter on my end. It's not going to change what I'm going to do. Okay, C4, we'll stay then. We'll chit chat. And the link is up there for anyone who wants to go over the Tiger Stacker and Nichols live. Hop back and forth. Yeah. I got one out of the way before 9 o'clock. I smoke more pot than most people do. I smoke more pot before 9 a.m. than most people do all day. Dude, my plants are looking good this year. I started them hella late. Like 6-7 weeks late. Not started them, put them in the ground that late. And they are making up for it. Dude. I'll take a hit right now for you. Yeah, Wayne, those words. What I always say is, I'll make you a deal. You show me a can't, I'll show you a can. And usually I'd have a can of soda and I'll be like, here's my can, where's your can't? And don't tell me about can't. There is no can't. It's all in your mind. You can do whatever you can do. Yeah, the word can't is actually a mental roadblock to keep you from succeeding in whatever you use that word in. Where there's, I can't see, nah, get some binoculars, you can. And there's always a can. It's never can't. Thank you, Ellie. So what other stuff are you guys interested in discussing? I'll try and have a topic or something set up better. Exactly. Yeah, it's not, they're not called Americans, Mexicans. 100% Space Miner and Chef Stacker. Yeah, there is no can't. They're all cans. I'm never drinking out of a can't. I always drink out of a can. That is a good book, Wayne. Oh my God, did you handle your business broke? I hate to see emergencies like that. I actually bought a Libertad off of Long Live Coin Show. That's the only Mexican coin I have. That's sweet, Chef. You know, there's all kinds of niches in the precious metals industry, and whichever one tickles your fancy, you can make money at big time. And I thank people like Chef Stacker and Nickel for bringing our attention to ways that you can make money off of silver, whether it's 90%, whether it's melting it down, all different. There's so many facets to the industry of precious metals that could tickle your fancy, that you could look at and get into and actually make money at. And Chef Stacker is doing an awesome job with his videos and explaining and showing that. At least one facet of it. There's lots of ways. Nickel stacking shows a way. I mean, it's rich in the stacking community, in the process of stacking, or how they stack, or how they get to the volume of stack. It's awesome, dudes. It's freaking awesome. You be safe, Wayne. Come by, my brother. Of money, C4. Soon, Space Miner, and you have heard it here first. Canada has a very, 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 very large and untapped platinum. And the company that holds the rights to that vein, I don't know if they're going to be the ones mining it. Clear Air Energy. They're north of Thunder Bay. The vein starts about 500 meters underneath the surface of the earth. For the price of platinum to be worth more before they start their project. Now I think their stock's in the penny mark. That's why I think they'll probably sell before it goes all the way up too high. But if you hold that stock, you'll be part of what will be largest platinum mine that distributes platinum to the world that'll be on this planet, because South Africa is running low on platinum. Buy silver, platinum, and crystallized osmium. I'm telling you for a reason, people. All three of those things will make you happy. Dude, the last administration said it to all of us. We just apparently know. We are sitting on top of $62 trillion worth of natural resources. Ever since he said that, a large rare earth mineral deposits, one of the largest in the world, was found in the Wyoming area. Also one somewhere in the Salt Flats, Nevada. Another one is like the second largest in the world. America is sitting on top of the largest oil reserves on the planet right now, because Saudi Arabia is about run out. On a long-term map playout of societies on this planet, America set ourselves up to be a great nation for the next at least 50 years after we get through this little bullshit. Because Saudi Arabia is running out of oil. South Africa is running out of platinum. Who's going to be delivering that to the world? America sits on the largest oil reserves on the planet. The company is an American company that owns the largest untapped platinum vein on the planet. We have the largest shale oil reserves and deposits on the planet, with the infrastructure to pull the oil out of the rock, which the byproduct is natural gas. We also have the infrastructure to capture that natural gas, which will give us an abundance of natural gas to sell to the world. We'll be selling oil to the world, and we will be selling it to them in USDA. I'm not concerned about America's future. This little hiccup we're going through right now, a little concerning. But as I've stated before, it's a 100-year, a 50-year, and 80-year cycle. The 100-year cycle brings us back to the 1919 worldwide pandemic known as the Spanish flu and the consecutive following silent depression of 1921-22. That is the 100-year economic cycle. And imagine what just happened. Hold on, wait, you don't have to. You've lived through it. A worldwide pandemic, and now we're living through the silent depression. The big one's going to hit 2031, 2030, 2029. Yeah, exactly, Space Miner. Our workers are going to be strapped for work. We're going to get top dollar for pay because everyone's going to be buying what we have. It's going to be, hold on, what happened after the silent depression of 1921 and 22? 1924, 5, 6, and 7 were freaking the roaring 20s, where millionaires were made left, right, and center. Be happy, guys. We're preparing for that. Let's all be multi-millionaires. Let's all get a book and read up on the silent depression, how it played out, and then look at the world around us now and the correlating. Hey, what's up, Finn? The correlating circumstances and situations and the non-correlating ones, knowing that the end game will be a relatively one thing or another, and you can come up with a very, very sound financial plan to come out of this on the other end wealthier than heckfire. And I'm an uneducated high school dropout. So you can't say you have to go to college to figure this shit out. You just have to, hold on, wait. You have to figure it out. It's easy. Read a book, watch a video, learn some shit, think about it from, I'll give one piece of advice. Anytime you hear something, look at a silver coin, and whatever you hear, that's that one side. Then search for the information that makes that coin complete, the other side, because there is zero time, no less than two sides to every coin. And if you look at information like that, you'll get a better perspective. If you have a better perspective, you'll be able to make better financial moves from investments for your strategies that you've decided to employ from your research and knowledge that you've gained. True, Broke Stacker. There is technology, but hold on now. Let's drop back 100 years. What was going on? The Industrial Revolution just ended, so we had technologies then that they didn't have 100 years before that. So if you really think about it, that's the other side of that statement. So now you got to think about it. Okay, well, yeah, but, and I'm not doing argumentative. I'm just doing it to get you to concede this other side, because when you think, okay, yeah, that's true as well. Now you conceive your point that you were making in a different state, and you've become more enlightened, and now you can become more decisive on any debate that you want to have on that point, because you'll be more insightful insightful. You'll have more insight from a different perspective on that point. That's how I don't people take it wrong, because a lot of people they just don't, their social skills, I mean, mine suck ass as far as swearing and stuff like that, but my other social skills are rather well. My people skills are good. My animal husbandry skills naturally good, so I'm not concerned too much about that, but other people's aren't that good. But yeah, invest in Africa, baby. It's soon as I can, I'm getting my passport, and I'm gonna get the money together. After I do other shit, I got to do other shit first. That's gonna be a little while, and I'm gonna make that Ghana trip. The good thing is, even though I'm not gonna be going to Ghana in August because I don't have a job yet. Hey, you take care, Space Miner. Thank you for dropping by, man. A good thing about the Ghana trip, canceling it, not going, is the gentleman still owns the house. He's still a friend of mine, and he'll still let me stay there even if he is not there. So I can still go at any time, any day, and whenever. And I can stay at his house. His house in Ghana, not here in California. Although I'm sure I could stay at his house here in California too, but I got my own. I don't have one in Ghana yet. Although that would be probably not a bad investment. Not that I know that much about their real estate. Hey, what's up, Vegas Stagger? I actually do know that there's this one American actor, a black guy. He's from Ghana. He's trying to build a city on an island that they have. So they are doing there's a lot of things happening in Ghana right now that, all business investments are risky, but man, the payoff of those investments, if it works out with the support and the money they have, that'd be a good investment. They've already got a couple $2 billion of investments to build this one futuristic city. It's cool. You guys ought to research it. Vegas Stacker, was it from a drunk that just left the slot machines, or did you buy it? Just asking. Right on. Sweet. Yeah. Throw out his link, one of my several mods. I was in Vegas for the Silver Symposium last October 1st, that weekend. They were doing the Grand Prix setting up for that. Are you in Vegas, actually in the city side or outside of Vegas, like in, what's that little town I stayed in? Henderson. Where are you in Vegas area? There you go. Everyone check out Vegas Stacker. Yeah, it is all the same. Yeah, it's just like the Bay Area. There's actually 56 separate cities in the Bay Area. And I've been here 30 years, and I actually drove through one city I didn't even know existed until I looked at the map. Because it's like, when you're driving on the highway, it's like 2 seconds. You're in this city and out of that city. And I mean, they're like, you cross the street from Berkeley, you're in Amador. Or no, not Amador, Aurora or something like that. There's this back to back city from all around the Bay Area. The only separation is the Golden Gate Bridge. "56 cities in one Bay Area. 11 million people. I'm glad people are vacating California. The roads are less congested. Oh, by the way, there's a Republican wave. No, Vegas. That was the first Silver Symposium. I don't. They canceled the next. A lot of things happened. It's not a yearly event anymore. If it was, and I don't think it was. I think it was something new, and it like imploded big time on itself. Actually, it was the promoter that imploded it, but whatever. And then one dude went to jail for theft, and some other shit. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry. Yeah, no, they're not going to have another Silver Symposium for a while. But I found out while I was there that an ironworker was killed at the Bellagio, putting up the stadiums over the water. They were aluminum stadiums they were putting up for the Grand Prix that was going on the following week, and a piece fell and like half cut off his head because it's all aluminum's real sharp edges. So we lost a brother ironworker that week. And since I'm a safety coordinator and I was in Las Vegas anyhow, that's how I found out about it. Yeah, I believe it, man. A lot of ironworkers still die building these projects, man. And we're one of the lowest paid trade skills out there. And yet we still have a high mortality rate because they say what we do isn't skilled. But yet people keep dying because they're not skilled. It's crazy. But hey, you know what? Not only did I make it through the military twice in one war, declared a war by Congress, I also made it through 30 years of ironwork. Yeah, I guess that's one way to know if God loves you or if He's really testing you. This boy needs to be tested. Yeah, I still have all my fingers, all my toes, both ears, eyes, and nose. No serious injuries, and no one is ever seriously injured. Little burns, little cuts, but never seriously injured or killed or dismembered on any job that I was on. And I've done more high rises as a decker than any ironworker that's actively working in the United States. That's why in 2019, the Western District Council called me at my house and said, Neil, we need you to go to Hawaii because they don't know how to do iron. They haven't done it in 25 years, and decking is like foreign to them. We needed to teach them. So I went over to Hawaii in 2019 for about a month and taught them how to do decking, the metal roofing and flooring system on metal buildings. And that's how they're building now, this metal with the system I taught them. So any new building or high rise you're in Hawaii, thank me. I taught those boys how to do it. That's why when I went over there, I wasn't just a piece of crap iron worker. When I went over there, I was given the king's treatment. I was teaching them how to make money, and I had lunch with the governor. I had the head sushi chef of all the islands cooking for me every night for 30 days. I was treated like royalty over there, bro. That's why I can call them uncle and cousin, because I am actually I'm a member of the Samoan warlord family that runs Hawaii. they're my uncles, the parishes, and their grandkids are my nephews. I was accepted into their family. Yeah, I've had a fun life, bro. No, out here in the Bay Area, Silverwood Blues, as far as union work goes, which non-union loves union because we set the price for them to get paid on public funded jobs. It's $53 an hour. Laborers get $51 an hour. Carpenters get like $67 an hour. Pipe fitters are like 85. HVAC is at like 68. Everyone's at like $10 an hour more than us. But whatever. Yeah, it is. It's very crazy. It is more than crazy. It's like I said, I've been out here since 1996, however many years that were, 28 years. Yeah, it's crazy. Luckily, though, when I got out here, August 26, 1996, I quit drinking and I quit women because I told myself, I don't want to leave California with something that'll kill me. Yeah, no offense to anyone from Vegas, but when I was there that one weekend, it was I hated it. I told Ninja, I was like, dude, I'm leaving. This place sucks. I didn't even stay for the whole convention. But I did meet Ian Ardart down there, and I interviewed him for the first time, which was cool. Mentioned the silver crystallized osmium that he had. And that was cool as well. Well, what you need to do is you need to insulate yourself, Vegas Stacker. You see things coming. There's two things to do: smart thing or the dumb thing. You either move out of the way or you stay put. And when I say move out of the way, make the moves that you need to make to secure yourself a safe spot. And I don't mean a physical safe spot, an economic safe spot, whatever it is that you're concerned about, and if you see something coming, insulate yourself for that and try and help others do the same. And if they don't, as most of us stackers realize, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So, that's where, and Economic Ninjas finally brought this up. I brought this up for over a year ago. During the Great Depression of 1929, 75% of people kept working. So ask yourself this: if 1 in 4 people wasn't working, why was the suffering so bad? Why the suffering was so bad? Because the other 3 out of 4 were selfish. That's why I started off my shows and everything over 2 years ago saying be kind, helpful, and grateful. Because if it's going to be worse than the Great Depression, and say there's, instead of 25% unemployed, say 40% unemployed. If you prepare to have 2 families for your stacking your pantry, and everyone does this, it'll be no big deal. But we're all greedy and selfish. When bad times come, we always self-insulate and take care of ourselves first, which we should, but that's where we end it. Once you get to the position where you think you're taken care of, and there's still time and you still have money, prepare to help others. Grab that Campbell's tomato soup case of 24 for $48 and put it to the side in your house. So when your neighbor starts going hungry and says, "Oh, we ain't got enough food," hand them that. They'll have a food for a couple of days, a week or so. Little shit like that. If everyone did that, it's just called being prepared. We are preppers. The word prepper is being prepared. If we are prepared, then we should prepare for others who are not prepared. And that's when the holy war or the Christianity or the religious part comes in, or the morality part comes in. Because what you got to ask yourself is, if it's going to be worse than 1929, can you handle seeing babies and small children starving to death with their parents? And if your answer is no, stock your pantries with more food. All of us stackers have common sense. What we don't have is numbers. But what we can get is we can get a lot of people help in bad times because we're smart enough. We just need to prepare. And since we're into being prepared, just add a little bit more to it. It's not that hard to be kind, helpful, and grateful. It's a lot harder, or it is hard being kind, helpful, grateful. It's easier being selfish, but God doesn't reward selfishness. As long as you do what you can. I've done a video last year of me growing corn, and then this year growing the fava bean over the corn so I can add natural nitrogen to the soil. So my corn next year, not this year because I'm not growing this year, I'm still prepping the soil, but next year over there when I grow, and it's in my neighbor's yard, and I live inside a city. That's why I did the video, to show that yes, you can grow food inside a city. I grew like a 200-300 current years of corn. I've grown 40 or 50 watermelon. All these things feed lots of people in bad times. So find spots, meet your neighbors, build your little network where you can grow stuff in different people's yards and different stuff, because that's the kind of food that'll keep those kids and those children from starving, like those pictures you see in black and white from 1929 and 30 and 31. There you go. Spreading information. I actually do that in the backyard, have for a couple of years. I take a shovel, push it in the ground, lift it, and all the way down into the ground, lift that up. Lady upstairs every week, she drinks coffee. She gives me the grounds. I stick them in that area. I put the dirt back down. And the next week I go about 2 foot away and do it again. And I've done that throughout the whole backyard. Little things like that helps plants grow without fertilizers. I've been a big advocate of growing soil, because if you grow the soil, it's got everything you need to grow whatever you want in that soil. That's why, everyone, I follow the Amish way of growing. They've never needed chemicals. They've never needed none of that stuff. And they are the most successful farmers on the planet. So, why not follow successful people? Our own government went to the Amish to learn farming techniques to save us from the 1970s Dust Bowl that we would have had, because we didn't know how to farm properly and maintain our topsoil. So the government, the Food and Drug Administration, put out a nationwide call looking for different farming techniques to save the topsoil. And the Amish were like, well, what you dummies doing where you ain't saving your topsoil? We add 2 to 4 inches of topsoil every year to our crops. And the government was like, what the hell? You mean you actually, what? And then big business that owned all the farms back then said, what? So all we got to do is spend a little money now and make more money later instead of be greedy now and cause a dust bowl? Yep. So they followed now the Amish farming techniques to keep America out of the next dust bowl. It also, the tilling techniques, destroys the locust eggs, and that's why we don't have locust plagues anymore from the Northwest. There's a lot of good thing about farming techniques that you guys should know about. Because every 17 years, we used to have a locust infestation in the Northwest. But if you study the life cycle of the locust, you find out farming techniques and tilling techniques can kill the eggs and stop that from happening, which killed most of the food source at the time. And they all learned it from the Amish. And it helped America grow and feed itself, but no one gives the Amish credit for the food you're eating today because of Amish. But that's just true history. I don't mean to enlighten you guys too much, especially since Gigi just got here. What's up, Gigi? Yeah, actually, I think that's you on the back left, Gigi, in the morning before you got your coffee. That's me looking at everybody going, what the hell are you looking at? It's just me. But I like this one the best. You know what state that's in? And that's kind of sort of what it is. You leave the earth better after you leave the earth, Silverboard Blues. And it don't take but about 2 years for anyone to take, well, it would probably take like 5 years to take desert soil and make it rich and growable. But you could do it in this. You could change the desert soil and make it green and lush, no problem whatsoever. Just got to learn about soil. I hardly water any of my plants. And I never use fertilizer. Anyhow, anyone else want to take a wild guess of what state, and it's in the continental United States, what state that picture is taken in? The color of the trees, a small waterfall, rocks, mountain, waterfall in the background. What state do you guys think that's in? You got the green trees, the yellow trees. Obviously, it's fall. And I think that's bedrock that water's rolling over. Alabama. Nope, Alabama. It might be Niagara Falls for Alabama, Gigi. And you know, the funny thing is, whoever took that picture and the people that live around there probably ain't never looked for gold at the bottom of that waterfall, but there's probably gold at the bottom of that waterfall because that water's running over bedrock. And has been for hundreds of years, and no one's looked for gold at the base of that stuff. And since Alabama is known as the gold capital of America east of the Mississippi, you could see from that picture how easy it would be to go down there and just find yourself some gold and have a nice area to go looking for gold. Gigi. I'm in a state of confusion. Are you going to join us soon? I live in California right now. or the state of confusion. And I think the property tax in Alabama is 49th lowest in the nation at 0.02% property tax. That I find kind of sort of awesome. Yeah, it's 8:30 here. West Coast. Winston Churchill had some good quotes. Okay, I'm going to warn you guys ahead of time. Turn your speakers down. Turn your speakers down. I'm going to throw up a 30-second commercial. I pay myself for this commercial. Yeah. Well, it depends, Gigi, on what you mean by ocean. I can look out the front door and see the north part of the actual bay of the Bay Area where the Napa River and the Delta run into the bay. I can actually see the Napa River. So I don't know if that's close enough to the ocean to you, but I'm right there at the estuary of where the Napa River runs into the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay, the north end of it, right there at the river. Any further west, and you've got about 20 miles of waterfowl sanctuary area. It's like a marshy area. And then you hit the mountains that actually hit the Pacific. Yeah, it kind of sucks, Vegas. I actually remember on most every high rise I built in San Francisco, once we get over around 12, once we get in the teens and higher, 13, 14, 15 stories, 20, 30 stories, with all the high rises around us, we would constantly get calls from people stating that we were breaking safety rules, and we would have safety people come up and observe us to make sure we weren't breaking safety rules just because some anonymous person from another high rise called and said that what we were doing, they looked scared and it didn't look like we were tied off or something. We had a lot of crap to deal with from people doing that stuff. Yeah, you're not that far away from the mountains, actually, if you're in Vegas. There's actually gold in those mountains, Vegas. You find the right area. Yeah, Vegas will be running out of water here in the next 10 years. It's going to be a good place to live. I don't know if I did a video on that, about the rivers and the dam and Lake Powell started dropping and shit. No rain for a couple of years. People started looking at water rights and stuff like that for states and whatnot, and then it started filling back up again. But the one thing that was determined in all of this is going to be the first one cut off of water if it happens again. Yeah, it's not always bad, Silver Bullet Blues. Every now and then you get to see that cool shot that every man dreams of when you look over and there's that, they're far away, so you don't know what they look like, but you just presume it to be a fine chick, with just bra and undies running around, not realizing that she has to close her blinds because there's guys, 50 yards away now because the building is, 4 or 5 stories higher this week than last week. There are those moments. Nothing is inevitable except for Thanos. GG. See, what you got to consider also, GG, is that water could easily be consumed and actually the water level lower the melting of those ice caps. Can anyone please try and explain to me how the water level could still drop? 60 seconds, and then I'll explain how that can happen and get your reactions. Some voyeuristic people do, yes, Gigi, and I have seen it on a couple occasions. I got to give people at least a minute, Gigi. It's called, it has something to do with magma pockets for quote unquote super volcanoes, and how the earth can rise and fall without having anything to do with glacial melting. And you can see an example of what I'm talking about if you look at Lake Yosemite, because there is actually a boat that was submerged for like 40 or 50 years that's now way above the tide line because the earth swelled upward about 3 or 4 foot. So if one of those pockets got too heavy, and I know about this because I put billions of tons on top of bedrock, and part of the process that we have to go to do that is got to check out what it'll do to the earth. And they found out if they don't do their math right, there's actually a lawsuit going on right now in San Francisco because Millennial Towers was built and they didn't do their math right on the foundation. So when they dug the hole, because it was close to other high rises, this other high rise that was 52 stories high started leaning, and so far the top of it has moved 3 foot, and every tenant of that high rise is suing that new 71 story that was built in San Francisco because they didn't figure the earth compaction rate properly of that new building when they dug 6 floors under a living city of high rises. So yeah, the earth can move. It's quite all right, Gigi. And also, if you study up on volcanism, you will find that if too many volcanoes start spewing out too much lava, your ground that is above ground now will actually start to sink. And that what is like, say, 5 foot above sea level today, within 20 years could be 20 foot below sea level and wet. And it has nothing to do with glacial. But if the glacials do melt while that volcanism event happens, your sea level will still not rise. It'll actually lower the level of the magma chambers and how much the land drops, and the location of the dropping of that land. And that stuff does happen because I actually did a report on Africa, where Africa is actually splitting apart, literally splitting apart. Overnight, a chasm opened up about 20 meters wide by several kilometers long from seismic activity and the shifting of the tectonic plates. And they determined in about a million years, Africa is going to be 2 islands, because that split through the tectonic action is going to open up. So what's that going to do with water? it's going to allow a space for water to go. So if you have a new space for water to go, then the water level will drop. So there's two occasions that are going on right now that could cause water to drop with glacial melting. Not that it will, it's a possibility. And there's two of them, so it's twice the possibility. Not that it will happen, it's just possible. Because both of them are actually happening. And glacial melting also happening. So, we do have 47 volcanoes on this planet that are spewing out lava. So there's going to be a lot of open magma chambers underneath land masses that are going to lower, which will allow a spot for water. It's just logical. At one point in time, America had an ocean in between the east and the west coast because of that exact reason. Because of the land rose and fell. It's not. I don't know if it had anything to do with the glacial melting or increasing at that point in time in history. That I do not know. Oh my God! Oh, you missed it, man! I gave away 5 ounces of platinum, bro. Sinkholes usually, at least in Florida, Silverboy Blue, and I've read up on the geology of that because a lot of people can't get homeowners insurance if you live within a mile of a sinkhole in Florida, and that's because of, believe it or not, water pockets of fresh water are being sucked up dry, and it's leaving an open hole, and the top surface falls down, making the crater. Now you got to ask yourself, hold on a second here, hold on. This is interesting to think about. That is actually true what I just said about those sinkholes, and you do know they happen. But how can they happen if Florida isn't 40 or 50 foot above sea level? Huh. We have oceans rising, and yet the land's sinking, and the water's not filling it up. Huh. Interesting. So what tectonic plate has to move before those holes get filled up with seawater or get filtered through the rock to fill them up with fresh water again, like they were before they collapsed the tops of every sinkhole? Just interesting things to think about. Dude, I ask so many interesting questions, and so few people have answers for me. And I always have to go looking for them myself. And it takes so much damn longer. So I don't learn as much as I want to. Wow. Yeah, Ghana. Go to Ghana. When are you going to go? Okay, I'll get my passport and I'll let you know when I'm going to go, and let's see if we can coordinate. I'll have a place we can stay. And for your comfort and security, the place we can stay at in Ghana, my friend's house, is in a neighborhood that has armed guards protecting it. So you know you're secure. Or the other side of that coin is, you know you're at risk. Excuse me. There is still gold out there in them there hills where you guys are talking about in Vegas. I would definitely go out there. Well, no, I wouldn't go out there. First, I'd do a lot of studying of the geography of the area and look at different periods of time, rainfall, seismic events, and I'd put all that information, stack it up together, and look at a map and go for the most prospective area to where I could have the best chance of scoring going out. Preparation is 9/10. What is the future for palladium? I'll be buying a crap load of palladium in the 700s and 600s. And in 15 years, we're going to be talking again, and palladium will be at about 5,000 or 6,000. And I'll be like, shit, I remember buying that stuff for $600 or $700. At least that's what I'm hoping. No, it's gonna fall. I can easily see it's in the 600s or 700s, possibly lower, but I'm optimistic, so I'll say 700, 600, high 600, low 700, somewhere around there. Palladium is used for several things, actually. Right now, they're, believe it or not, and everyone doesn't realize this, catalytic converters is what they're used for. They replace platinum. They switch every 10 years. The contract for the auto industry now, and has been for a year and a half, it's been that they're buying palladium to use in the catalytic converters and not platinum. There was a slight manipulation of prices, and 250,000 ounces of platinum was bought by the auto industry because platinum at the time was cheaper than palladium still. So they used for a short period of time beyond the contracted using palladium over platinum contract. They went outside that contract, bought 250,000 ounces of platinum the beginning part or middle part of last year, and used that in their catalytic converters because they saved money because the price differential the ratio wasn't working the way it normally does because of the manipulative effect. But after that purchase, palladium started going down again, and they're anticipating it to go down and stay down for a while for the auto industry's usages. And platinum is being manipulated by China, and that's going to end soon too. But as far as what else it's used for, it is a platinum groups metal, and I do feel slightly bad that off the top of my head, it is not one of the platinum groups metals that I know a lot about. But I do know that platinum's use cases far suppress what palladium's use cases are, and that's why I say palladium's going to and should be a lot lower than platinum. And also, business is changing, and all the circumstances of the rotation of platinum and palladium catalytic converters and the deals they had for 10-year contracts on price manipulation and all this other stuff, all that stuff's going to end. So it's very possible that use case will actually be a driving factor in price. And if that comes around, palladium will stay down for quite some time until they actually find some good use cases for it. And platinum will skyrocket because they have new use cases for platinum because of technology that they didn't have a couple of years ago. Yeah, exactly, O. That's one of many reasons. And here's another. Any substance that you have that has a glued surface to it, 3M glue was used to glue that surface, like your car, the interior top, and probably a lot of your upholstery is glued on. It was used by spray glue. 3M Chemicals came up with that. And they needed to use a platinum screening to run a chemical called Vidine through a pipeline through this platinum screening, because platinum was the best catalyst to use to change the chemical composition of Vidine to where it would accept the molecule of something that would make it aerosolable, to where they could put it in a can and spray glue in aerosol form. So without platinum, you would not have a lot of the things you take advantage of and don't even think of today. that is platinum's required because of the catalyst ability of platinum and its heat and resistance to staining and corroding, and it's the best metal out there for the chemical industry of for any kind of chemical industry, for which there's going to be a lot more of, and it's been like that since the 80s. They've needed platinum screening for these chemical conversions because only platinum can be used as a catalyst to cause the effects they want with the chemical they run through the platinum. So yeah, if it ever comes around to where use case is the driver of the price, platinum will far suppress the price of gold because gold's not used for any of that crap. Gold's just used for gold teeth, jewelry, and monetary exchange. I'm not sure. There's a little bit in satellites, and there's a little bit here, and a little, not enough for it to make a difference. But yeah, there's gold in certain little industries, and a little bit of it in that little industry. How big is the satellite industry? Really not big. So if they say, oh yeah, they use them with satellites, yeah, okay. Yeah, only the ones that they use for telescopes, which means they only use one every 5 years, which means they use a lot of gold every 5 years on one satellite. Yeah, you're right. They use a lot of gold on satellites, put it in perspective. Yeah, whatever. When it comes to use case here on terra firma, platinum, copper, silver. There's a couple new ones, not new ones, but a couple ones that'll come up because of new technologies. Can't think of them off the top of my head. So just stick with buy silver, platinum, crystallized osmium. You'll sleep better. Well, platinum's future doesn't only look bright for the use of the hydrogen fuel cell. It also looks bright because there's a company out there that owns the rights to mine the next large platinum vein that's going to be mined on this planet, which will put South Africa off the map for as far as platinum production, because they're at the end of their mine, their vein that they can. No, I guess if you invest in robots, they could go deeper and save some money and make it logistically and economically feasible to mine a little bit further deeper. But the South African mines, they're averaging 2,000 meters underground. The hostility of conditions to humans that deep under the crust surface, closer to the mantle, is not favorable unless lots of expense is spent to adequately make the environment and temperature so that a human could work and put in an 8-hour day and not pass out and sue you. So it costs a lot of money to mine that deep. If they ever get any good management, which might come up since the ANC has had to partner with the DA party in South Africa to remain in control, it's possible they might get management into a situation where they run the last part of their mine more properly, and that would change the price of platinum and start raising it up. But they would have to employ a robotic workforce or something down below 2,000 meters, to where the Canadian mine, it starts at 5,000 meters, and it'll take them 20 years to get down to 2,000 meters. So for the next 20 years, the North American continent is going to be the platinum leader for production and distribution of the world, thus giving us economic power over everyone else, which will guarantee the United States dollar will remain strong no matter what form, just like it was before 1971, and everyone accepted the fake dollar that we've been living on? Well, they accepted it. They'll also accept the next one. Why? Because we are a world power. There's 47 aircraft carriers on this planet. There's like 14 nuclear powered aircraft carriers on this planet. America has 11 aircraft carriers, 11 nuclear aircraft carriers. If you know anything about the military, that should scare anyone who doesn't like America, because the force and power that can be brought by a aircraft carrier fleet is devastating to every country on this planet except for two. Well, one. Two. So, as soon as we lose that, I'll be worried about our world power. But since we made them all nuclear and they're going to be good without needing fuel or energy added to them like every other world's fleet does, where they have to bring out fuel trucks to keep them going, we don't have to for the next 50 years. So for at least 50 years, we'll be able to maintain and manage them. So we're good for, probably till the end of the century before we get challenged. Talk more about crystallized osmium. Hold on a second here, like MC Hammer. I'm going to bring it. Hold on. Isn't that stuff just the shiniest stuff you've ever seen? It like winks at you. All right, crystallized osmium. It's osmium. Osmium is found in platinum, and actually, quite frankly, we're going to be producing osmium as well, because it's found in platinum veins in the platinum ore. It's like 14 tons. Yeah, like 26,000 pounds of platinum ore has to be brought to the surface and processed to get 1 ounce of osmium in its rare earth form. In its rare earth form, it's toxic to humans because it can be because of oxidization, and that's the catalyst for it to change its chemical process to where it throws off a fume as it dissolves into a powdery form. But in its form out of the ground, it is the only precious metals group of the 8 noble metals. It's the 8th noble metal. It comes out of the ground. It's naturally a bluish color. It's the only precious metal other than gold that comes out of the ground a different color, or a blue color. It's the only one that comes out of blue color, actually. To turn it into a crystal form, a scientist in Sweden took 40 years of his life to develop this technology and process to where you superheat that osmium, the rare ore osmium. You superheat it to 9,000 degrees, and it forms it goes into a vapor form. And in that vapor form, he shoots a laser at it onto a plate, and the chemical process happens. It draws that vapors to it, causes it to form in a crystallized form, and or start growing. It actually attracts it to it. It starts growing the crystals into a form, and it in its crystallized form, it's very inert. It's very a hard substance, so oxygen cannot penetrate to cause it to dissolve in its crystallized form as it can in its ore form. And this was discovered in 1804. They've been looking for use case, like we were just talking about with platinum's use case. They've been looking for a use case for it ever since then. They found that they could use it in light bulbs as the filament, but it was uneconomical, so they gave that up very quickly around the turn of the 40s or 50s, 1940s or 50s, some 60s maybe. No, not even 40s or 50s, maybe 30s, somewhere around there. But it was uneconomical to do that, and there's so little of it because it's so rare. It's 1,500 times more rare than gold. So they haven't been able to find a use case for it till the scientists came along and developed the technology to make it into a crystallized form. Now they use it basically for jewelry. because it is a precious metal. It is the eighth of the noble precious metals, of which you got gold, silver, platinum, iridium, palladium, iridium, osmium. It's the eighth one. Osmium's the eighth one, and in the crystallized form, you're able to touch it, hold it, and work with it. So they've added it to jewelry over the past 10 years in Europe, and it's been circulating in the European Union area in the high-end jewelry market. And about 2 years ago, Ian Ardark from Arc Silver picked up on it and brought it here. Was actually the flagship shop for crystallized osmium here in America, and he's the first one to bring it to America. And I'm like, well, I was the first one to do an interview with him, but the first one to grab traction with the interview was Long Live Coins, because he did a lot better job than I did. And we're one of the few out there. It's probably 20, 30, but interest is growing damn near daily in this stuff. Ian did a talk where he's got a large jeweler and distributor interested in crystallized osmium and coming up with jewelry and stuff. So the supply of this stuff, because of the rarity, the above ground supply is probably going to run out within 2 years. So if you know what to look forward for in a silver squeeze scenario, looking at crystallized osmium, what you need to look at is the silver squeeze scenario on crack, because it's going to happen within 2 years, and it'll play out however it plays out. It'll probably be how the silver squeeze long term plays out, but it'll take longer for silver to get there because there's more silver out there to squeeze. There's a lot less crystallized osmium, and as people buy it and use it in jewelry, that number decreases exponentially and does not get replenished because of the unavailability of it from mining, or the rarity of being able to get the raw mineral from mining processes that we have today ongoing. Is that enough, O? Or did I talk your ear off? I take it either did or you left because I was running my mouth too much about crystallized osmium. Thank you, Silver Boys. Does anyone want to discuss anything else? Yeah, pretty much all the information that you can get online or that the Osmium Institute gives out, I just basically formatted it, threw it into layman's terms, and shortened it as much as possible for quick, fast talking points, letterhead points, whatever you want to call them. It's going to be very big, and it's going to go up in price very fast. I would honestly suggest, not being a financial advisor, to have some on hand with the rest of your stack, because it is also a precious metal. I have I have a little bit. I have a lot of pieces of the 2mm squares. I have several dozen that I'm turning into earrings and nose rings. Thank you, Annie. Yeah, if you voted for me for president, you'd hate me within the first year. I'd be cutting so many services. I'd be cut. I'd make Malay look like a school child with paper scissors. comparatively to Chainsaw Massacre, the movie, with the real chainsaw cutting things up. No, we cutting that. We cutting that. We cutting that. We cutting that. You want to see what it looks like America first? Yeah, no. We ain't supporting that shit overseas. That money's coming back home to the veterans and the fucking motherless or fatherless children and homeless peoples in America. And that would kill. That would get me killed, because I would have been that move right there would take billions of dollars out of a lot of healthy people's hands, and they'd put an assassination on me. What do you mean? I thought Vermont was like in the center of Alabama, like between Montgomery and Huntsville. You go through Vermont. My bad. My geography's I must have been shaken up during that last earthquake. That was a joke, by the way. Just my cats came in here fighting, and I've got to eyeball one of them to put him in line. Vermont, Alabama. I'm sure there's a small town called Vermont. You know, this is funny as shit. When I left the Ironworks in 2001 and started moved down to Alabama area, in Mobile, Alabama area, and I started the Mobile Zoo Ren Fair, but it didn't make enough money for me to stay, so I left. And I was taking the northern route to get back to California, come back out here to do ironwork. And my car broke down in Arkansas, in a small town with the most humorous name for a town I have ever heard. And they pronounced it differently. But if you spelled it out, it's Dumbass, Arkansas. And yes, I did say dumb ass, but they call it Dumas, Arkansas. But it's spelled out Dumbass, Arkansas. And from the limited experience I had with the mechanical people in that town that worked on vehicles, dumbass applies, not Dumas. I can always tell what cat's guilty because the first ones to run in here acting like they didn't do anything. Mentality of cats. Oh, so you know about Dumas? Yeah, it's dumbass. At least you know I'm telling the truth. It's Dumbass, Arkansas. Maybe my thoughts were skewed because their mechanics were dumbasses. By the way, what were you studying in college? Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, guys. It's been going on for 3 hours. I appreciate everybody who came in. I hope I was at least entertaining and possibly passed a little bit of knowledge, but if nothing less, entertaining. And I hope you guys have a great week coming up. And throughout the week, I will actually write things down on a piece of paper as to what I need to get ready, so I'll be more prepared for next week's live stream for whatever topic. Oh God, if I was in that town, boy, wax a chair. I know that's not how it's not how it's pronounced, but I make fun of the English language. But anyhow, I'm gonna bid you guys adieu and call it a night. I thank every one of you for being here. And again, next Sunday will be better. I'll be more prepared. And have a great one, guys.